Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to lesson number 7. In this lesson, we'll explore the difference between major and minor chords, and learn how to play both types of chords starting with any note on the piano. We'll also learn a few new ways to play chords called inversions, and finish by playing a pop song. Back in lesson 5, we learned about the whole steps and half steps that make up a major scale, and then we learned how to build a major scale starting on any key. If you play a chord starting on the first note of a major scale, then add the third and fifth note of the scale, you'll get a major chord. For example, with the C chord we've been playing all along, the root note is a C, the first note of the C scale. Going up from there, D, E is the third note of the scale. Moving up from there, F, G is the fifth note of the scale, making a C major chord. A major chord has a certain sound to it that you'll start to recognize as you play it more often. And no matter what key you start on, a major chord always has that same kind of sound. The sound of a major chord is based on the distance, or interval, between the root and third of the chord. In all major chords, the third is 2 whole steps from the root. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. This interval of 2 whole steps is called a major third. It's the interval of a major third from C to E that makes this a C major chord. If you want to change a major chord to a minor chord, you move the third, or E, down by 1/2 step to E flat, and it'll sound like this. In a minor chord, the interval between the first and third note is a whole step from C to D, plus a 1/2 step, D to E flat. This interval of a step and a half is called a minor third, and it's what gives the minor chord its unique sound. A good way to think of the difference between a major and minor chord is that the major chord has a happier sound, while the minor chord has a sadder sound. Let's play a few more chords and change them between major and minor. If we start with an F chord, like this, we can tell if it's a major or minor chord by looking at the interval between the root F and the third A, which is 2 whole steps. Since 2 whole steps is a major third, this is an F major chord. To make it an F minor, we just lower the third by a 1/2 step to A flat, like this. Now let's play a chord progression with major and minor chords. We'll start with a C major chord, then change it to C minor, then play an F major chord, and change it to F minor. We'll play each chord for 4 beats. Let's play the progression 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. C major, 2, 3, 4. C minor, 2, 3, 4. F major, 2, 3, 4. F minor, 2, 3. Again, C major, 2, 3, 4. C minor, 2, 3, 4. F major, 2, 3, 4. F minor, 2, 3, 4. Now you know how to recognize major and minor chords. And remember, you can always figure out whether a chord is major or minor by looking at the interval between the root and the third of the chord. 2 whole steps for major and a step and a half for minor. We've learned quite a few different chords, and one thing all these chords have in common is that they're made from 3 notes. We've been playing all of these chords with the root of the chord as the lowest note, like this. This is called root position. But there are 2 other ways to play a 3-note chord where the root isn't the lowest note. We know that a C chord is built from C, E, and G. We also know that there's more than one C on the piano keyboard. For instance, there's another C an octave above this one, right here. We can play a C chord using the same 3 notes, C, E, and G, but put the C on the top rather than on the bottom, like this. C up here with your 5th finger, then E at the bottom of the chord with your thumb, then G in the middle with your 1st finger. This chord still has the same three notes, C, E, and G, but they're just in a different order. A C chord with the E, or third, as the lowest note is called a C in first inversion. Still a C chord, just played in a different way. We can also play the same C chord with the G, or fifth, as the lowest note, like this. C with your third finger, E with your fifth finger, and G with your thumb. The C chord played like this is called a C in second inversion. Now we know that a three-note chord can be played in three different ways. When the root is the lowest note, it's called root position. When the third is the lowest note, it's called first inversion. And when the fifth is the lowest note, it's called second inversion. Now take some time to play some other chords you know in different inversions. The song in this lesson uses major and minor chords, with some in first inversion. There are two parts to the song. The first part is called the verse, and it starts on C, then goes to D minor, then to A minor in first inversion. You then play these same chords again, C, D minor, A minor, and finish on G in first inversion. The second part of the song is called the chorus. It starts on C, then goes to F, then F minor. There's also a left-hand part to the song that has an interesting rhythm and adds some nice bass notes to the chords you'll be playing. Once you're comfortable with the right hand, you can use the notation to learn the left-hand part. I hope you had fun. When you're ready, move on to Lesson 8. We'll learn more about scales and play another famous classical piece.